Well, thank you. Glad everybody could make it tonight. So first item is to approve the minutes from our last meeting last week, last Wednesday. Geez, we met less than a week ago. Wow. Josh sent out the minutes. We did a lot of voting last week, a lot of things approved. So hopefully you've had a chance to look through the minutes, and I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I, Darren Boston, make a motion to approve the minutes from last week.
Okay, Darren, thank you. Is that a second?
I, Thomas Golden, will second.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes? Nope, okay. Then Josh, we'll need a roll call, please.
Ed,
Yes,
Leonie,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve. Steve,
Steve's on mute.
Sorry, yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
all right, thank you. I see Janet is joining then. Hi, Janet. You're on mute. Hello, Janet. Oh, well. She'll pipe in.
I'm here.
Um,
I didn't have sound. I don't know why.
I see. Well, thanks for joining. We have a full house tonight.
Woohoo.
Right, I don't see anyone from the public on, so we will not have any public comment, at least right now. We'll pass by that and we'll move right into old business. So the first thing we're going to do is just go through a couple of definitions that we decided to add last week. I've got those. I'll share those with you. The other thing was I did end up getting finally an updated version from the library trustees. They did make a couple of changes, so I want to go through those with you as well. I know it's not on the agenda, but it's something we need to review and vote on those minor changes. And then we'll go through the rest of the charter and vote on the articles as we had decided last week. For those that weren't at the meeting, Cleone and Scott, you may have missed this part of the meeting. I think everyone else was on. We decided last week, we voted that we're actually going to vote on each article in its entirety, rather than go through each article again. Tom made a motion which was seconded and approved. So what we'll do is we'll just take a yay nay vote on each of the 10 articles, and then we'll be done. And then after that, we'll go through the presentation that I put together for next week's town council meeting. Well, let me share my screen. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So one of the definitions that we had talked about, I think Cleone, you actually brought this up in your comments, was loan order. So I've inserted a definition here for loan order. And what it is basically an order to authorize the borrowing of funds for a specific project. And order is actually defined further down here. So we didn't need to do anything further with that. An order is a mandate or precept, a command or direction authoritatively given. So in this case, the town council, in addition to approving ordinances, which is legislative material, can also approve loan orders to borrow funds. So would someone like to make a motion to approve this definition of loan order?
Just need a period and then
Okay. Thank you, Janet.
I, Steve Purcell, motion to approve definition loan order.
I, Thomas Golden, will second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, if not, then Josh, we're going to need a roll call to approve the definition of loan order.
Just to clarify, is this adding the definition or is
Yes.
this amending?
Yes, we are adding a new definition, correct?
Okay, thank you. Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All righty, thank you. The next one was ministerial body. That was actually from back in January. I believe Scott had brought this one up, and we had somehow it slipped through the cracks. So I got some help from Matt at the library trustees, because that's where this is actually located, is in section 3.2. So the definition of a ministerial body is any body, meaning a board, commission, or committee, having legal authority to take actions which are essentially administrative in nature. So would someone like to make a motion to approve this definition? And I know I need a period at the end. Thank you, Janet.
Next one does too.
I, Steve Purcell, move to add ministerial body definition to the charter.
Is there a second?
I, Thomas Golden, will second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion or comments? All right, Josh, we'll need a roll call to add a new definition for ministerial body.
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
yes,
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
yes,
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All right, thank you all. All right, the next one is revenue loan order. This is essentially the same thing as a loan order, except this deals with authorizing the borrowing of funds to increase revenues. So there might be a shortfall in the revenue stream for whatever reason, and there needs to be a coverage of that shortfall in a short term. So the council will authorize borrowing of funds specifically to increase revenues. Different from a regular loan order, because that is more capital specific project borrowing, and this is more revenue. So could I have a motion to approve a new definition for revenue loan order?
I, Janet, approve for the new definition of revenue loan order with the period at the end of revenues.
You're gonna get me every
I'm
time,
gonna get
Janet.
I, Steve Purcell, second.
Thank you, Steve. Any further discussion? All right, Josh, we'll need a roll call to approve the new definition for revenue loan order.
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
yes,
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
yes,
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
All right, thank you all for that. So now I'm going to move quickly down to 3.2, which is where the library trustees stuff came in. So this is section 3.2. They didn't change anything in A, B, C, D, E, or F. Most of the changes were right here in G. So what you see in yellow is what they wanted to change. I added this thing in gray because it sort of defines what this except as set forth herein. Scott, you probably know more about this phrase than any of us because it's more of a legal term, but this phrase basically, it means that a more detailed statement or explanation is set forth somewhere else in the document. So it reads, except as set forth herein, the library director, blah, 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 and then same with this one here. So what they've done is they've defined some additional stuff down in here that they want to take effect, and that's why they've added this statement in here. Okay. So that covers the first two. This bottom one here, I'll read the bottom sentence and then we can go on to the second sentence. The city manager may only renew or extend the employment contract of the library director upon receipt of an additional written recommendation of the Board of Library Trustees to do so. Then they added, in the case of an employment at will situation, any period of consecutive employment, and there's a misspelling right there, for more than 1 year shall be considered an extension. So what I'd like to do is entertain a motion to approve these changes to the first paragraph, and then we'll go down to the second paragraph.
I, Thomas Golden, motion to approve the changes to that first paragraph. I don't know if we're gonna do lines or whatever.
It's item G, right? So it would be.
Just do, yeah, item G. So
32,
32G.
32G, yeah, first paragraph. Okay, is there a second?
I, Steve Purcell, second.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Any further discussion or comments on that paragraph? Okay, if not, Josh, I'll take a roll call on section 32G, first paragraph, changes.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
yes,
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott. Scott,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes,
thank you. The motion was approved.
okay. This next paragraph has to do with the hiring of a new candidate for the library director. It actually used to be part of this first paragraph and they broke it out. So what they've added here is the city manager shall include a representative, and there's another spelling error. The city manager shall include that a representative of the library is present for at least one interview for each potential candidate. Then what was already there said, should the library board of trustees fail to provide a written recommendation, originally it said 90 days, they changed it to 180 days, calendar days, from the date of the position becomes, they are going to remove vacant and replace that with publicly posted. Provided that the city manager has during that period interviewed at least 3 properly credentialed candidates. The city manager may proceed with the hiring process without the board of trustees' recommendation, and the city council may ratify such hiring. I'll let you just soak that in for a minute.
So this is something that we already discussed in substance in a previous meeting. Because we've had this discussion about how long the period should be before we allow the city manager to move on their own.
Yep.
So I'm concerned about us relitigating something that we've already gone through and voted on, for one. It's
but
as far as
isn't that
following the
isn't that
rules
the
of
purpose
procedure.
of
I'm not sure
rules?
about whether that's appropriate, but we spent a good amount of time coming up with this 90 calendar days and figuring out how long to wait before we let the town manager go ahead and hire somebody should the board of trustees not make any recommendation.
Yeah, and I think the reason they increased it to 180 was based on the last hiring that they did. It took 6 months or a little longer than 6 months to hire the current library director, so they felt that 90 days was too short. So I'm just, this is, go ahead, Janet.
What was this section? I can't remember. I mean, we talked about it, but was this what the trustees were recommending to begin with, or was this our idea? And on the, even if we did spend a long time doing something, that's the purpose of us doing the second round voting, to make sure we agree with how we voted the first, decided the first time.
Right.
So I don't have any problem.
I would
with
disagree with
relooking.
that, because when we talked about the second round of voting, it was to make sure that all of the sections of the charter that we talked about didn't contradict each other and create a problem within the entire charter. It wasn't, the purpose of it was not to come back and relitigate everything and go through this entire process, because that would just take us forever. I mean, if I were to come forward and say, well, gee, I don't like the way this vote happened back in, October of last year. Now I'm going to come forward with a new amendment. That's not fair to the committee. The committee voted, and, some of the votes I lost on the position that I was advocating for.
Yeah, so let's be clear on what transpired here. So if you recall back in, I think it was December or January, the library trustees presented us with a reworked version of what was currently in the charter, which was section 3.2. They provided us with a whole new section 3.2,
Right.
which we did, Scott. We did go through it and we discussed it. I think we made a few changes and then we voted and we went with it. Subsequent to that, the library trustees have had several more meetings where they've gone through their original submission to us and they've decided to make some additions to it. So what I'm presenting to you tonight in yellow is, it represents the additions that they want to see added. So
Right.
everything in green was what they had already provided and we voted on. You know, obviously the 90 days is something they want to change. No, we don't have to agree with that. We don't want to. I think it's reasonable for us to just look at what they've provided and either accept it or reject it at this point.
Yeah, when we went through it before and we came up with 90 days, we had members of the library trustees here in the meeting participating in that discussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, excuse me. My concern with this is, you know, tying the town manager. Excuse me. You know, some of this I'm okay with the language that we have here. But as far as, you know, waiting 6 months for the trustees to not provide any answer, I'm not sure if that's the right answer. I'm open to hear the other side. And then the requirement that they have to interview at least 3 properly credentialed candidates. Well, now we have to define properly credentialed. What if they don't get 3 properly credentialed applicants?
Mhm.
You know, this is a very unique position. You know, a library director, there's not a whole lot of them out there. So, you know, how do we define that? How do we make that determination? I think we get very far down in the weeds with this.
Yeah, I would agree with that comment, that how do you define properly credentialed?
I would further that we are not the group to define that, even if we wanted to.
Yep. Yep. So I guess we've got several options here. One option is somebody could make a motion to just accept the changes as presented. That's one option. Another option would be reject the changes that have been submitted and just go with what we had originally, which is what you see in green, or just accept a piece of it or a part of it, whatever. So
I'm-
I guess,
I'm for doing at least part of it. Like I see one piece that I wouldn't object to. I'm not sure, you know, I'm not necessarily, the properly credentialed candidates I get. How do you define that? I'm not sure days, but I do see a couple of pieces here that, you know, could stay.
yeah, I agree. I think if we start with just the first sentence, the city manager shall include that a representative of the library is present for at least one interview for each potential candidate.
that's reasonable.
Representative of the library, I think needs to be changed to, change the word library to Board of Library Trustees. And maybe change representative to member.
Okay.
And I think if we just take that one sentence, you know, I would move to approve that one sentence and then move on.
Okay, fine. So would someone second that motion?
I'll second that. I, Steve Purcell, second that.
Okay. And further discussion on the first sentence as modified? Okay, Josh, we're going to take a roll call on the first sentence of the second paragraph, section 3.2G.
A quick question, what we're voting on? We're voting to just for just that sentence, or is it just that sentence that we're gonna change and leave everything else?
The motion right now is just for that first sentence. And then
Okay.
my plan is to move on to the next sentence and just sort of break it up. Because I think Janet hit the nail on the head. There's some good stuff and there's some stuff that, yeah, I'm not sure about.
Okay.
Thanks, Darren. All right, Josh, we ready for roll call?
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
yeah,
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, thank you all. All right, so now we move to the second sentence. Should the library board of trustees fail to provide a written recommendation within either 90 or 180 calendar days? I explained to you the rationale for the 180, but maybe we think that's too long. Maybe 6 months is too long. Maybe we stick with the 90.
I think the rationale
actually,
that you presented is, to me, is logical. If it took 180 days to hire the last one,
Mhm.
somewhere in that time frame, then okay, I can understand 180 days. But I would end the sentence at after publicly posted. Simply because
I wanted some
having-
clarification on this. I'm sorry, Scott.
just to finish, because the whole reason for having this time limit is for the town manager to be able to fill that gap if we don't get qualified candidates, if we can't, we interview people and there's just nobody good to hire. Town manager can put somebody in place maybe on a temporary basis or something like that. But anyway, so I'll stop.
Okay, Cleone?
What Scott said kind of helped clarify what this is trying to say. So I wanted to propose that the order that this is presented in should be changed because it is confusing. Because on the first reading, going on further into the sentence, it would appear to say that after 3 properly credentialed candidates are interviewed, and if the trustee does not provide a recommendation based on those 3 credentialed candidates, that the city manager after 180 or 90 days can appoint someone. But that's not what's being said here. It's basically the town manager can bring on someone that did not go through the interview process. The wording or the order of how this is structured is confusing to me.
Well, I think part of the problem, and Scott kind of alluded to this, is this sentence right here. We may not need this sentence. We may not agree with this sentence. If we just ended that other sentence, should the library board of trustees fail to provide a written recommendation within 180 calendar days from the date the position becomes publicly posted, period. Then, comma, the city manager may proceed with the hiring process without the board of trustees' recommendation. It's this middle sentence that's causing the confusion, I believe.
But even with what you said, is when I hear the hiring process should include those interviews that the library trustees should attend. So if it's still confusing. So it says, you're talking about the hiring process. Are we talking about 2 possible hiring process? One that includes the promotion of the position, but no viable candidate come forward. And then another alternative is that the town manager would just find someone and put them in place without the process of an interview?
So it's one process, there's 2 pieces to the process. The first part of the process is that the board of trustees participate in the interview process that the town manager or that the city manager is leading. And if the board of trustees cannot provide a recommendation on any of the candidates within 180 days, then they're sort of waiving their approval and they're giving the approval to solely to the city manager to proceed ahead without the recommendation of the Board of Trustees.
That's very helpful. And so why would it take them up to 100 days to select from those that were brought forward? Is it because they feel dissatisfied with all candidates? Is that why they would want 180 days versus 90?
There could be various reasons. Maybe, as Scott mentioned, maybe there's not a qualified person. Maybe out of all the candidates they interview, they're not happy.
Well, Ed,
You know.
I think the 180 days issue comes into play because of where this language starts the 180 days.
Mhm.
In the first language we had from the time the position becomes vacant.
Right.
So if you go from that time frame to being able to, come up with a job description, a job posting, figuring out how you're going to go out and actively search for qualified candidates, gathering the resumes, screening, interviewing, even if you start from publicly posted as recommended here, which I like that language, 180 days, I can see that. It might not be enough. I think part of the confusion is the way it's laid out. And Cleone, what you said clued me into this. I think this second sentence really belongs in the paragraph above, somewhere after the second sentence, before the words "the city manager will provide," right in the middle of the paragraph there. That seems to be where that sentence would fit best, because the first sentence talks about the library director shall only be hired upon, we've got a language, upon the city manager. No, we got it right. That the library director shall only be hired upon the city manager receiving a written recommendation from the Board of Library Trustees. Except as set forth herein, the city council may not ratify the appointment of the library director if the city manager has not received a written recommendation from the Board of Library Trustees. So if we insert this sentence we're working on right there, right where I stopped, essentially that's what they would be talking about in the phrase "except as set forth herein."
Mhm.
So that sentence would allow the city manager and the city council to move forward with the hiring process if after 180 days they still haven't received anything from the Board of Trustees.
So which sentence, Scott, are you talking about?
The one that begins with "should," that we were just working on,
To public be posted?
to publicly posted.
All right, let me put it up there and let's see how it looks. Should the library,
And you'd pick up again from the green section down below. The city manager may proceed with the hiring process without the Board of Trustees recommendation.
down in this paragraph, you mean?
Yes. You see where the green is on the bottom sentence? Right where it starts. Whoops. Right where your cursor is,
Yeah,
that the city manager may proceed with the hiring process.
yeah, but what about this, should the library, board of library field for the day of the,
Yeah, you copied that up.
so I delete this?
And then just take that last sentence. The city manager may proceed with the hiring process. Yeah, that whole sentence.
So this is the way you want it now?
Now take in the paragraph you're just working in,
Yeah,
take that whole last sentence, move it
Yeah.
up to finish the white section. See where it's right after posted. And then after posted, take the period, change that to a comma.
so where are we now? Where are we?
Right in the middle of the white section,
Comma,
comma.
that what you're looking for?
Yeah, does that, if I'm reading this correctly, I think that makes sense. And it fixes the issue that Cleone highlighted, that it seemed out of place.
Okay, so let's say, except as set forth here, and the city council may not ratify the appointment of the library director if the city manager has not received a written recommendation from the Board of Library Trustees. Should the Library Board of Trustees fail to recommendation within 180 calendar days from the date position becomes, you want to say publicly posted?
Yes.
The city manager may proceed with the hiring process without the Board of Trustees' recommendation, and the city council may ratify such hiring. The city manager will provide the library Board of Trustees with the term and length, blah, 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 that was already there.
Yep.
So then this bottom paragraph basically just says they're going to include a board member to be present with the interviews, may proceed with the hiring process without the Board of Trustees recommend, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that last sentence from the city manager proceed can be deleted.
Right here,
Yeah, because that's repetitive.
this whole sentence.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're right. I think that does make it flow much better.
Does that sentence, the city manager shall include the member of the Board of Library be indented?
Yes, well, it should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, let me make this all same color.
All right. Ed, do you want me to make a motion to approve?
Sure. Yep.
All right, I, Scott Pidham, move to approve the amendment as I just presented it.
Okay,
I,
this is
Darren
to,
Bork, second the motion.
thank you, Darren. Any further discussion? Okay, thank you, Scott and Darren, for that. So Josh, we're going to need a roll call vote to approve the changes made to section 3.2G as discussed.
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
Yeah,
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Great. All right. Thank you all for that, your patience on that one. Okay, so that completes all of the individual changes, updates to the charter that require action on our behalf to review and approve. So what we'll do now, unless there's any further questions, we'll move on to approving each of the 10 articles. So the first article, Article 1, Incorporation and Authority.
Yeah, do we need to do the definitions?
We, Oh, yeah.
Because we didn't do them last week, remember, because we were gonna add to.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We approve them individually, but we can approve them, yes. All right, let's just do that.
I, Thomas Golden, motion to approve the definition section of the charter.
Steve Purcell, second.
Okay, any further discussion on the definitions? Okay, thank you. Josh, we need a roll call vote to approve the definitions section of the charter.
Okay, and just to clarify, it's at the addition of the definition section or just the changes?
I think it's just in general, right?
right.
Yeah, we're just approving the entire definition section of the charter.
Or I guess
Oh.
here, maybe, is it better phrase this? I, Thomas Golden, motion to accept the definition section of this charter as written.
Okay, yeah, that, I think that'll help it. Rather than
Okay.
doing two separate votes for the additions that we made and the
Yeah.
changes.
Okay,
All right, thank you. Ed,
yes.
Cleone,
yes,
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so moving on to Article 1. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the Article 1 changes made to Article 1.
I, Scott Pidham, move to accept the changes made to Article 1.
Okay,
Darren
I,
Russell,
Danny
second the
Means,
motion.
second.
okay, I think Cleone got that one. That's
Yeah.
second.
Yes, yes.
Okay, any further discussion on Article 1? If not, Josh will need a roll call to approve Article 1 as written.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes,
Darren,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes,
Scott,
Yes,
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you. All right, moving on to Article 2, Legislative Branch.
I have a question.
Okay,
I just was confused, maybe if you, on section 2-1D, number 2, could you just read that? It just, I wasn't getting it. I still was confused the way it was worded, so if you could just read it out loud, maybe I'd understand. I don't-
sure. D2 is what you're saying?
D2, yes.
Okay, no former counselor shall hold any compensated appointed city office or city employment until 1 year after the expiration of service on the city council. This provision shall not prevent a city officer or employee who has taken a leave of absence from such duties to serve as a member of the city council upon returning to such office or employment following service as a member of the city council.
Just must be my brain. I just don't follow it. It's me. I don't follow it, but
I think the first part of it is pretty standard with state law, that once you leave the city council, you can't move into a position. You can't get appointed by the town manager who you were just overseeing
yeah, that,
into a paid position.
yeah, that first sentence I was clear. The rest of it was a little,
The second part, it looks like it carves out an exception to that first sentence. So if a town employee or city employee takes a leave of absence from their job and they're not getting paid for it, like I know teachers can take a 1-year leave of absence. I don't know about city employees, but I know teachers can. But let's say, a firefighter can take a leave of absence. And during that leave of absence, while they're not actively employed, they volunteer and they become, they get appointed to be a city council member to fill a vacancy or something like that. Once they leave that position on the council, they can just go right back into their job. They don't
Yeah.
have to wait that extra year to go back to their full-time job. Does that make sense?
well, it was talking about counselor. That's why I was confused.
It says city officer or employee.
Right. So if they leave their job as a city officer or an employee, and
All right,
while
I
on
get
that leave of absence, become a member of the city council.
Okay.
That was a great explanation, Scott. Thank you for that.
Little wordy for me, but now I get it.
All right,
Yeah, a lot of the charter can be like that. It's
Yeah.
very wordy and you have to sit and, yeah.
okay, any other questions on Article 2?
I know we weren't worrying about commas or anything. I just noticed there was some blue, just if you're going through it, just there's some blue commas and that you forgot to make green. I think one particular was section 2-6C, number 8. And the section 2-12, the A, the margin needed to be corrected on that one. That's all.
I'll just make these real quick now because you're bringing them up. What was the other one?
My 2-12A, the letter A, the margin needed to be pushed out to match the other one. It's a slight typo, that's all.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Janet. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve Article 2?
I, Thomas Golden, will motion to approve the changes to Article 2.
I, Steve Purcell, second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, Josh, we need a roll call to approve Article 2 as written, or is updated.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you, Josh. All right, moving on to elected officials, Article 3.
you need a period on line 13.
Okay. You'd be a great editor at a publishing company or something, Janet. Okay, most of the changes, I believe, to this article were in the library section, but we also have the recall provision is in here, and we have the term limits, I believe. No, term limits weren't here.
I think those are in Article 4, if memory serves.
Or article, was it? Maybe you're right, or Article 2. No, yeah. So would someone like to make a motion to approve Article 3?
I, Thomas Golden, motion to approve the changes to Article 3.
I, Steve Purcell, second.
Okay, anyone have any further discussion on Article 3?
That's not the one where there's stipends, right? That's, must be further down.
Let's see, yes, it's further down. The city clerk is the last piece in Article 3.
Okay,
Okay, we have a seconded motion. Any further discussion? Okay, Josh, we would need a roll call to approve Article 3 as written.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
yes,
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you all for that. Article 4, city manager. Once again, this lays out the appointment process, the duties, powers and duties, the responsibilities of compensation, how to fill a vacancy, stuff that we've, talked about, how to remove the city manager, and that's pretty much it. Okay. So again, this will be approving Article 4 for all the changes that we've already voted on.
I, Darren Boston, make a motion to approve Article 4.
I, Thomas Golden, second.
Okay, thank you, guys. Any further discussion, comments, or questions? Okay, Josh, we need a roll call to approve Article 4 as written.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you. Moving on to Article 5, administrative organization. So this, I don't think we had a whole lot of stuff in here, believe it or not, but we talked about the city attorney, making that a 3-year renewable term, appointed by the city council. And that was the big item, I guess, in Article 5. So would someone like to make a motion to approve Article 5?
I, Thomas Golden, motion to approve Article 5.
I, Steve Purcell, second.
Okay, any further discussion on Article 5? Okay, Josh, we need a roll call to approve Article 5 as written.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
yes,
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, thank you. Article 6, financial management.
Excuse me, Ed.
Yes,
I forget where the stipends is, but when we get to that, I just had a question so I just don't want to agree on an article and then realize that I agreed to something when I forgot to ask the question. I didn't write down where it is, so I just want to put it out there that when we get to that, I just had a question, so.
okay, I mean, I could do a find on stipend right now.
I'm just afraid I might have agreed to something without asking the question. I'm looking at myself and I can't find it.
Oh, so we already, we did, it was back in 212, sorry.
Oh,
What was your question?
um,
Was that what you texted me about or emailed me about?
it doesn't, there it is. I was reading it and that's why I had to ask, is this per year or is it for their term? And you said it's supposed to be per year. Is there, and this is what I was looking for and I apologize. I should have written it down with my question. Is it necessary to put, I don't want to assume, I don't want people to assume one way or the other. If somebody's looking at that, are they going to assume that it's for the entire 3-year elected term, or is it for per year of their term?
Well, so I think it's because it's under salary. I mean, you don't normally pay somebody a 3-year salary, right? It's usually a yearly salary. So I think it's assumed that it's yearly. I mean,
And I think Janet raises a very good point here because, I mean, as much as we all look at this and think annually,
mhm.
not everybody is reasonable. I know we just voted on this. So
I apologize. I meant, I was looking for
Scott
it.
Pitta will make I make a motion to reconsider what's the proper, is it a motion to reconsider or
Yeah.
a motion to rescind our prior vote? I think it's a motion to rescind our prior vote on section 2.
Janet, second.
And this will require a 2/3 vote per the
Okay.
rules.
So we're going to revote Article 2 after we discuss this one particular item?
Well, we have to have the vote first
Right.
to allow us to go, and then it's as if that vote never took place. Then we could go back in, make an amendment to add the word annual,
Yeah.
and then redo our vote.
Well, we'd have to do two votes, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we'd have to
Vote on this- vote on this
To do that,
specific-
We have to vote on the motion
Yeah.
to rescind.
So I think there's 3 votes we're going to take. We're going to take a vote to rescind.
Yep.
We're going to take a vote to modify 212A. And then we're going to take another vote to re-vote the entire article.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
So someone make a motion to, you want to rescind?
So
Yeah, we did that already.
Yeah, they already motioned and seconded.
Okay.
Vote.
Okay, great. So we're going to take a roll call vote, Josh, to rescind the original motion on approving Article 2.
Okay. Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay. So now I just added here an annual. Each city councilor shall receive an annual stipend of $3,000. Is that appropriate?
I, Scott Pitta, move to accept the amendment as mentioned by Janet and inserted by Ed.
Janet,
Purcell, second.
second. Oh, go ahead.
Steve Purcell, second.
All right. Thank you, Steve. All right, Josh, we need any further discussion on this one then?
Put a period at the end of the section 19.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay, so any further discussion on this? If not, Josh, we need a roll call to approve a modification to section 212A.
Okay, Ed,
Yes.
Yes.
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
thank you,
Okay,
Kevin.
great.
I, Scott Pidham, move to accept all of the changes to Article 2.
Darren Boston, second the motion.
Okay, thank you, Darren. Scott, any further discussion on this motion to Article 2? Okay, Josh, we need a roll call to approve Article 2 as written.
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Great. All right, thank you. All right,
Thanks.
so we left off at financial management. So I guess the question then is, if you have any further changes or questions or comments on any of the articles going forward, make sure you raise them before we vote so we don't have to go and undo votes again. All right, so Article 6, that was a good change though. Thank you, Janet, for bringing that up. Article 6, financial management. This is all about the budgeting process. We've added a few things in here, clarified a few things. We clarified the audit process. And pretty much that was it.
if it matters to you, Ed, there was 2 commas in section 6.3 that you kept blue.
Okay. 6.3. I see one here, yeah.
And one further down under after proposed. In that same section.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion on Article 6.
Steve Purcell move to approve Article 6.
I second. I, Thomas Golden, will second.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Any further discussion on Article 6? Okay, if not, Josh, we need a roll call to approve Article 6 as written.
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, thank you. All right, elections and related matters, Article 7. This article talks specifically about the elections. We clarified some issue here on the districts. And that's it. There wasn't a lot in Article 7. Just a couple.
period after whatsoever on the very first, under section -2. Under after whatsoever.
Okay, thank you, Janet.
Might as well go for all of them.
All right, anything else? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve Article 7.
Darren Boston, make a motion to approve Article 7.
Steve Purcell second.
Thank you, Steve. Darren, any further discussion? Okay, Josh, need a roll call to approve Article 7 as written.
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone.
Yeah.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott. Scott,
Yes. Sorry, my mute switch is not working right.
thanks. Janet,
Yes,
thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, thanks, Josh. All right, moving on to citizen participation mechanisms, Article 8. There was a lot of clarification done here. Some things added. We updated the calendar, business day situation. And that was it. A few other wordsmithing kinds of changes that we made there. So would someone like to make a motion to approve Article 8?
On the A,
Yeah,
you gotta push on section 8.1, push the A over.
thank you.
I, Cleone Mainville, motion to approve the changes made under section 8, Article 8.
Okay. Is there a second?
Thomas Golden will second.
Thank you, Tom. Any further discussion on Article 8? Okay, if not, Josh, we'll need a roll call to approve Article 8 as written.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes,
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you all for that. Article 9, general provisions. We did spend a lot of time talking about section 9.1, the conflicts of interest. So you can see all the changes there that we made in green. Prohibitions, not a lot that we did there, nor did we do much on campaign finance, just a couple of wordsmithing things here. We did do the computation of time on section 9.6D. We revised or clarified the process on how to remove a member of a multiple member appointed body. This is, we broke the process up into two, when the appointing authority is the city manager versus the city council. We provided some updates here as well to the calendar stuff, and then we added section 9.9, which was enforcement of the charter provisions. So would anyone like to make a motion to approve Article 9?
I, Thomas Golden, will motion to approve the changes to Article 9.
Steve Purcell, second.
Okay, thank you, guys. Any discussion, questions, or comments on Article 9? Okay, Josh, we'll need a roll call to approve Article 9 as written.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
yes,
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you. And last but not least, Article 10, transitional provisions. The only thing we did here, if you recall, we removed, I forget what the sentence was talking about. It had to do with, I think, the city clerk, maybe.
right.
So we removed that, and basically just one sentence now in this article. So I will take a motion to approve Article 10.
I, Janet, motion to approve Article 10 as written.
I, Steve Purcell, second.
Thank you, Steve and Janet. Any further discussion on this one? Okay, Josh, final roll call on Article 10 as written.
Ed,
Yes,
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
yes,
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you all. Okay, so that completes our voting on the second round of voting on the charter and all the updates that were made. What I will do now is produce make sure the table of contents now is in line with everything, all the pages are correct, all that, and then I will send you all a final copy, both in Word and PDF. If you would like both, I can easily send both to you. My plan is to, I think I have to actually send a copy with the presentation. So Josh right now is handling the role of interim clerk of the council until they hire a full-time person. So I owe Josh the presentation by Thursday of this week. So it can be posted before next Tuesday, which is the meeting. So I will give him the final version of the charter as well as the presentation that can be posted. And then we have the meeting on Tuesday. So I'd like to spend a couple minutes just walking through the presentation real quickly with you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
As I said in my email, I pretty much used the public forum deck that we had, mainly because I think it flowed nicely. It was at the right level to present without going into a whole lot of detail. It covered all the major points. So this is the title slide, 2021 final charter recommendations. The agenda, still do a little background, strategy, cover the general recommendations, the article specific recommendations, the options for the rollout, and then next steps. So again, the committee, this is the same information that we presented before. It's just that now we've held 32 meetings and as opposed to, I think it was 28 or 27 that was in the previous presentation. The same background slide just gives an overview of what we've accomplished. The strategy slide remains the same. Now, what I did decide to do is I removed the survey slide. You remember we had a slide after this one that kind of gave an overview of the results of the survey. I didn't want to put that in there because I think it could open up discussions that I really didn't want to get into. I mean, I know it's good information. We reference it here. So we can certainly say that available to anybody that wants it. So the recommendations in general, I added the table of contents here, new and updated definitions, and pretty much everything else is the same.
Are we doing the hyperlinks?
Well, that's a recommendation that we made. We haven't inserted the hyperlinks. I think what we decided at our last meeting was
Right.
that would be something that the council would do, would actually, get the links as needed,
I actually have a follow-up recommendation to that. Rather than try to have them embed it, there should just be an available appendix that has it that they can update easily. Then they don't have to change the charter, but it's like a resource tab.
Okay.
We don't have to do anything with that. When we articulate this to the council, that might be how we explain it.
Okay. Maybe that would actually be something that would be in the administrative code then,
Right.
as opposed to actually being in the charter. So maybe I should put a hyphen or put an asterisk on this and a footnote on the slide that sort of just states that we feel using hyperlinks for the readers of the charter, but due to maintenance issues, we didn't want to put the actual links in the charter, but they can be put in a separate document, maybe in the administrative code.
Sounds good.
So I'll rework that one. Okay, and then the only change to this slide was that we changed the home rule charter to a special act charter. That was under 2.1B, the short title. That's something we did recently, so I added that in. But we had already removed the definitions from Article 1. And pretty much all the slides have stayed the same. The rollout slide is the same. Oh, the only takeoff, I think there were two other controversial items. One was the city clerk. We took that off. And what was the other one? I can't remember what it was, but basically I listed as controversial or potentially controversial term limits and the stipend.
Excuse me, Ed.
Yep.
You don't think town to city is a controversial one? People
No, I
I've
don't.
talked to, that could be a controversial one. I don't know. But,
I agree with Janet. I think that's going to get a lot more attention than people think.
I agree. I think it's going to be a lot of no on that.
Again, this gets back to, just because it says city in the charter doesn't mean that,
Yeah,
But
but I don't think it's because there's no education involved with it, right? Like when you send it to the town to the vote, unless you're gonna have someone standing there explaining it every time, people are gonna see the word city and get all scared.
yeah. Okay, so you're suggesting I put it down here.
because it doesn't explain in the charter why we're clear enough to people why I know why you're doing it and you know how I feel about it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I've talked to other people and there's mixed feelings on that. So that would have to be really explained to people to make them understand why it's being changed.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I think that's a fair comment. So I've moved it down here as potentially controversial. Okay. And then basically the next steps would be that, we hand it over to the council and the town attorney for their own internal review. The council solicits public feedback. Actually, there's probably another step in there, which might be council/attorney modifications. I purposely left that out because obviously I don't want them to modify it, but they will anyway. So I think once they review it, they do their own review, then they're gonna, they should have some public forums or some way to get feedback from the public before it becomes final. They do their final review. Then they package it on the ballot in terms of how the special act is going to lay out the ballot. This is after they've come up with the final version of the charter. Then they send it to the state legislature for approval. Then it comes back and then the citizens vote. So that's at a high level, the steps that will happen once we hand it off. So is there anything that I'm missing? Is there anything you think that would provide additional value in the presentation at this point?
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
I think it's perfect.
Okay. I am going to assume that they are going to hand it over to the Rules and Procedures Committee, because that's what they've done in the past. Frank Souza is currently the chair of that committee. I think Sean George is on it. And I don't recall who the other member is, but what I will do is volunteer, to meet with them separately. If obviously they're going to want to, I think, go through the charter and to have an understanding of why we decided what we decided. So there may be some additional meetings coming up. Whether I attend myself or we all attend or whoever wants to attend can attend. I would prefer that maybe I have other folks attend with me so that it's just not all coming from me. But I will, we'll let you know more about that as, so that's that. If any further discussion, comments?
so next Tuesday, it will be presented.
Yep. And my understanding is they're gonna continue to do these meetings via Zoom for the next year. At least that's what Governor Baker has indicated, that all municipalities have to continue in the Zoom mode for the foreseeable future. So we'll just do it just the way we've done it here in the past. So if all of you can join, that would be great. Just, so people know who you are and we can give some recognition to the committee. I'm sure they're going to be thanking us for the work that we've done and what have you. The other thing is, I wanted to ask you what you all would think about sort of having a little get together at some point, maybe in the next, maybe in the next couple of weeks or over the summer, just to sort of celebrate the work we've done and have a nice social time together.
That'd be fun.
That'd be-
Okay.
Okay. I'll try and pull something together and let you know some potential dates and we can go from there. How's that?
Perfect.
Be nice to kind of meet face to face, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
After all this time. All right.
On that same note, I just wanted to thank everybody. Same as I said with the town council, I always measure a committee by the degree of civility. I think everybody here I have disagreed with at some point, and we have voted differently on at least some issue, but we've always been able to just move the vote and move on from that, go on to the next issue. And it's not a personal thing. And this has been very professional, and I appreciate everybody's hard work on this.
Here, here.
Oh.
I agree.
I just noticed that Cleone was, thank you, Scott, for that. I just noticed Cleone was in the waiting room. Oh,
Well, I want to thank Ed for all your work on this. You really did a lot
Yeah,
without
no
you.
doubt. That's for
Done.
sure.
well, I mean, I've had the time and I actually sort of enjoy doing it. And, but in no way, shape or means has this has been a team effort, clearly a team effort. Everybody has given their talents and gifts in different ways that have made this really be a high quality product. I think we've accomplished a lot. We really have. The charter has got a lot of new changes, I think, that are really going to be well received, to be honest with you. There's some controversial things, but it was long overdue to be updated. And I'm just hoping and praying that most of, if not all, the changes we submit get through. So,
Yes. That would be the most discouraging thing, is all this work would be for naught.
yeah. Sorry, Cleone, I just noticed that you were in the waiting room. Did you drop out?
I'm having some technical issues with my computer, so I had to switch to my phone.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You
No
missed a
worries.
couple things, but we're just kind of finalizing here. Did you hear me say about getting together socially at some point?
No.
Yeah, so I asked if the group would want to get together and have a little social event amongst ourselves as a team, just to kind of celebrate our work. So that's something you'd be interested in. I'll supply some dates and we can schedule that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. It's been a wonderful experience getting to know you all. I have a sense that this is not the end for many of you in local politics or local government. The town needs good people that are concerned about our town. Cleone, I know you're already actively involved in many different ways. Scott, you've obviously been involved in many different ways. And I just encourage everyone to stay close to what's happening in town. Because it's only through volunteers like us that change happens. Whether or not you may decide to run for council someday, or just get involved in a committee, or just involved in a support, some sort of a grassroots organization that has a cause. It's a great thing for our community for people to do that. So I really want to thank you all for your time over the last year. It's been enjoyable.
So one more meeting.
Town council will be the
It
most.
won't be recorded though.
Oh,
All right, I'll entertain a motion. There's nobody here for public forum, right? I don't see anybody else. No action items because we don't have any more meetings. And I guess I'll just take a motion to adjourn.
And I would say when you do this, we get together and make sure we invite Josh.
Oh, definitely. Josh is part of our team.
Agreed.
I'll be there taking minutes.
Josh, you have been outstanding helping us through everything. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
Appreciate it. All right. Was
Thomas
there a motion?
Golden motion to adjourn the town charter review committee.
And they all said,
Who seconded?
I
it?
second.
Thanks. All right. Josh, you need a roll call to adjourn.
Ed,
Yes.
Cleone,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Janet.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting is adjourned.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye,
Take care.
everybody.
All right,
Take care.
bye-bye.
Looking forward to seeing y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.